In the last 3 years, close to 1.1 crore unique traders lost almost around 1.8 lakh crore trading F&O. SEBI on Monday came out with a research report which showed that 93% of the people who traded F&O in the last 3 years ended up losing money. So in this entire fiasco of F&O, is it really worth taking up F&O in the long run or not? Let's find out. Before we move on to the video, make sure you hit the like button, share this video and also subscribe to the channel. You can also check out our services on quickalpha.in/services. So the link is attached in the description. Make sure you check it out. On 23rd of September, that is this Monday, SEBI published a study which showed the F&O traders' profitability over the course of last 3 years. And the results were quite surprising. So it was already seen that in the last year, 90% of the F&O traders actually ended up losing money. But if you take a look at a period of 3 years, that number further ended up increasing. So today you see the number is close to around 93%. What this really shows is as and when the longer you start trading F&O, there is a higher chance you will actually end up making a loss. So in this entire fiasco of F&O, if we further dig into the details, we also got to know that only 1% of the traders or 1% of unique traders ended up making a profit of more than a lakh in this last 3 years. This really brings up the question, is it really worth doing F&O in the longer run? Because if you take a look at this as a whole, right? So there is only 1% chance that you will actually end up making more than a lakh. Anything you do apart from trading F&O, there's a higher chance that over the course of 3 years, you might have made more than a lakh. Right? So the next question comes, in case if retail F&O traders are losing so much money, almost around 1.8 lakh crore, where is this money actually going into? This study further answers the exact question. So while the retail traders ended up making a loss, whereas on the other hand, FIIs as well as prop desks ended up making a profit of almost around 63,000 crores in the last 3 years using algo trading. So this is a very important point to note. So while most of the traders are coming and trying to trade manually, right? So FIIs are investing thousands of crores on very high-tech infrastructure. So it is FIIs and prop desks who are investing crores and crores on high-tech infrastructure, and they have made close to around 63,000 crores by using algos alone. So what we have to understand is we are in a place where we are trying to compete with machines, right? So sophisticated machines which are actually reading the order flow, which are actually trying to see how the market is behaving and punching thousands and thousands of lots within few milliseconds. And here on the other hand, we retailers are trying to fight against that. So that is something which is really important to note, because it shows that as and when more retail participation comes into picture, there's a higher chance that these institutions with sophisticated machines can actually end up making more money. Because end of the day, F&O is just transfer of money from one party to the other party. And here the party which is at an advantage is definitely the prop firms and the FIIs. So also one very important thing to note is especially these FIIs, if they are coming from Singapore or Dubai, so the amount what they make is also tax free. That means technically they are taking away money from India free of tax. But here if you actually end up making a profit, we have to pay 30% tax on F&O. But these people are literally stealing money from Indian retailers tax free. So that means if 63,000 crores is transferred to prop firms and FIIs, where is the rest of the money going? So out of this 1 lakh crores, somewhere the rest of the money should go. So this entire 1.2 lakh crore has actually gone in government charges. Yes, you heard it right. Close to around 66% of the overall loss. So if 1.8 lakh crore is the total loss, 66% of this overall loss has come from the government charges. So it can be exchange transaction charge, it can be SEBI charges, it can be security transaction charge, brokerage, whatnot, GST on brokerage, stamp duty, so on and so forth. So many different charges which gets levied on an investor. So all this accounts for close to around 1.2 lakh crore in the last 3 years. This is quite a shocking number. So this actually happens to show how skewed the entire F&O trading is, right? So more than 66% is actually going away in charges, and when you make a profit on that, you have to further pay income tax, and when you actually end up making profit on top of this, you have to pay 30% income tax. With all of this stacked against you, you are actually trying to fight against sophisticated algorithms built by FIIs or built by prop desk who have invested crores and crores of rupees. So this is the reality of F&O. So the thing is, it gets more disturbing when you actually further tend to read that nearly 43% of the people who are actually participating in F&O are people below 30 years. That means it is the youth, right? So 30 years is actually the youth of a people, right? So below 30 years, that participation is almost close to around 43% in this F&O market. And that is quite huge because this is the period, so somewhere around 20 to 30 is the period when you can actually earn, save and invest. Or maybe 20 to 40 is around the period where you actually earn, save and invest and grow. This is something which you actually start to plan for your retirement. You start to accumulate a corpus for your retirement. So this entire money is actually going into F&O and getting transferred into hands of a foreign institution. This is something very disturbing, and the more disturbing fact is 75% of the traders who have made the loss have actually come back again with more money to trade. That means they are not stopping the trading here, right? So they are bringing more and more money to further end up trading, right? So that means it is like a cycle they have gotten into. It is an addiction they have gotten into where they are unable to get out of trading, right? So they are making loss. They are somewhere arranging more funds. They are bringing it in and putting back in the market and making further loss. So this is quite a disturbing fact because what you are losing today is definitely going to affect your future, right? So once you reach 40 or 50, your earning capacity is slowly going to go down. While your earning capacity goes down, if you don't end up saving or investing what you earn today, you are going to have a real hard time in future, right? So it is not just a concern of the current youth, it is also the concern of the future of the country. And this is why SEBI is hell-bent on making sure that they curb F&O participation by retailers. Where RBI also published a recent study where savings is going down and more money is actually moving into market. While it is good on one hand for the economy because people are willing to invest, people are willing to participate in the growth of the country. So if they are actually coming into F&O, this can also be a pain because 93% of the people who come in hardly end up making money, and 99% of the people have made lesser than 1 lakh or even a huge loss. So when you actually take a look at this distribution with help of this chart, so we get to see that nearly close to around 1 crore of unique investors ended up losing anywhere between 10,000 to 10 lakh rupees. So majority of the investors actually lie in this zone where they ended up losing 10,000 to 10 lakh rupees in the last 3 years. So whereas on the other hand, if you see how many people actually ended up making more than 1 lakh, right? It is hardly close to around 1 lakh unique investors who ended up making more than 1 lakh, right? So majority of the people are actually in this skewed zone where they are losing anywhere between 10,000 to 10 lakh. So in this distribution, we further get to see how much money was made by whom or lost by whom. So here we get to see that people who made a loss between 10 lakh to 1 crore. So there are totally 4 lakh unique investors and they alone ended up losing close to around 88,000 crores in the last 3 years. So the more you see, the more disturbing the number gets, but end of the day, that's the reality. So even if you actually go and inquire with your CA or any CA around, he is going to tell you how much money people are actually losing trading F&O. So this really shows that what we see on social media might not reflect the true picture. And also, on the other hand, if you take a look at the stuff right over here, you see that things are actually getting more and more manipulated. So there is no question of, okay, the market moves in a particular way. There is option Greeks, option Delta, option Gamma. No, right? So the very simple fact is in the FinNifty expiry, which happened on Tuesday, right? So if you take a look at 1 minute chart of Nifty expiry, around the time of 2:50 p.m., we saw a random 200 point move. So within 2 minutes, the entire index went up 1% higher, and within the next 2 minutes, it was back to the same range. Now, how is this move entirely being created? So is there any backing behind how the whole move is being created? It is being done with the help of these algos from the prop firms. So this entire move triggered a cascading effect on all the call options. It is not just a call option, even put options ended up multiplying to a great extent. So for example, this 25,000 CE, which was hardly trading around few pennies, right? So maybe 1 or 2 rupees, right? So you can see at 250, it ended up going to 9.6, 250, 50 seconds. So exactly 1 second later, it went up to 11.85. And the very next second, we are not even talking about a minute, we are talking about seconds here. The very next second, it went from 11.85 to 51. Right? So just look at this chart. So this is a second by second chart. So it went all the way from 11.85 to 51 rupees. It is almost a 5x increase just in matter of 1 second. So these are the kind of moves which we are getting to see, and the whole F&O market is completely manipulated, right? So the way the options are moving, the way the options are spiking, the way the index is moving, nothing looks normal, to be honest. So that means, what exactly can an investor do, or what exactly can a trader do? So that means, is it worth to quit F&O trading altogether? Is it worth to come out of market trading altogether? So the thing is, in my opinion, you can find something which has more probability of success, which means something like an equity trading will have much more probability than 7%. So there is only a 7% chance that you can succeed as a F&O trader over the course of 3 years. But if you actually end up trading equities, there's a slightly higher chance. Definitely there is much more chance that you will actually end up succeeding as an equity trader versus doing F&O. So can you avoid F&O totally? So the thing is, here it really matters about your mindset, right? If something is not working, please stop behind that, right? So it shows that 75% of people have actually come behind trading F&O, even though they have made loss for consistent period of time. So if something is not working, it is always good for us to stay away from that, and it is always good for us to recognize that things are not the same way they were before. I'm also slowly trying to reduce the exposure towards F&O. It is not worth to sit in front of the screen and trade full time like how we were doing before, when the whole market movement seems to be manipulated. Earlier, things were different, things were more easier, you could make more money much easily. But now the things have changed, and it is not the same way how you actually end up making money. You have to struggle for every single penny. So the thing is, you can see that there are many areas in markets which are as niche as option selling was in 2017 and 18. So nobody was doing option selling in 17 and 18, and it is only now in the last 2-3 years where people have actually started getting into this quite actively. So if you actually explore different aspects of markets, you do see that there are multiple niches in the market which people are not even talking about. Right. So I am trying to find one such, and actually we are working towards one such thing which we have already found. Right. So in my opinion, you can also look at the market, because market is quite broad. It offers quite a lot of opportunity. So look at something which people are not even interested in, and that's where real opportunity exists. That's where you can make money much easily than trying to find or trying to struggle hard for these pennies to end up making not a significant return, right? So making say 15-20% sitting in front of the screen whole day, right, and taking the kind of stress, you have to really question yourself, is it really worth all the efforts, all the stress you are going to take, unless you do it on a sizable capital. Let's say you're doing it on say capital of 10 to 50 crores. If you're making somewhere around 20% with all the stress, it might be worth it. But to earn 2 lakh, is it really worth taking all the stress to do it on a 10 lakh capital? That is something you have to question yourself. With this, I'm going to come to the end of this video. If you found this video informative, if you found some value you were able to take out of this video, make sure you hit the like button, share this video, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much.